Welcome. So we now have a multiplayer project set up, but we're using the default mannequin and we'd like a more interesting character. So in this lecture, we're going to add some game assets. This is going to include environments, animations, and some weapons that we can use in our multiplayer game. Now I'm going to start by finding some weapons for our project. Now I'm here in the Epic Games launcher, and I'm going to search for Military Weapons Silver. And there's a free asset pack that contains a ton of weapons. It's called Military Weapons Silver, and it's in the free collection, and there are no plans to remove it from the free collection. So this is great because it contains several different weapon assets, and it also has particle systems and sounds for each of these weapons. So this is a great starting pack. Now the reason I'm starting with this asset pack is because you'll notice that under supported engine versions, it only lists 4.4 to 4.21. And we're using Unreal Engine 5, so how are we going to use these? Well, I'd like to show you how to get this into an Unreal Engine 5 project. This is a really good skill to have, and it gives you more options when it comes to adding assets to your Unreal Engine 5 projects. Now, I'd love to just give you these assets in a project, but I don't have the license to do so. So I'm going to have to show you how to add this to your project, and now you'll be capable of adding assets compatible with any version of Unreal Engine. So we see that we need an Unreal Engine version 4.21. So we can go to our library and install Unreal Engine version 4.21. You'll see that I already have it here. Now, if your hard disk space is limited, you can choose other weapon assets from the marketplace or from anywhere else and follow along just fine. But I'm going to show you how to get assets that are only compatible with 4.21 into our Unreal Engine 5 project. So I'm going to create a 4.21 project. I'm going to launch 4.21, and I'm going to select New Project, and I'm going to keep this a Blueprint project, and I can select blank because we don't need any starting content. Now I'm going to select a folder for this, and I'm going to stick it here right next to my Blaster project. So I'm going to select that folder, and I'm going to call this UE4_assets and create project. So here's my Unreal Engine 4.21 project. Now it's completely empty, and I'm going to add the Military Weapons Silver assets to this project. So I'm back here in the marketplace. Here's the Military Weapons Silver asset pack. I'm going to click Add to Project. Now here's my UE4 Assets 4.21 project. I'm going to select that and click Add to Project. Now once it's done adding to my project, I have my Military Weapons Silver here. And it comes with a showcase level that shows you all the assets here. We have an assault rifle, a pistol, a sniper rifle, a rocket launcher, a shotgun, and a grenade launcher. Now we can use any and all of these in our project. So this is great. Now I'd like to migrate these on over to my Unreal Engine 5 project, and I can easily do that by right-clicking on Military Wep Silver here under the Content folder and selecting Migrate. Now it's showing me all the assets it's going to migrate. I'm going to click OK and go back to my Blaster project and select the Content folder. Now if you're unaware, when you're migrating assets, you have to migrate them to a Content folder. You can't select any other folder. So I'm going to select that folder, and I see that the content migration completed successfully. But now that I have these assets, I'm ready to add some environments. So we're now ready to add more assets, and I'd like to add the Unreal Learning Kit, which contains environments and a character. So I'm going to go ahead and close my Unreal Engine 4 project. And back here in the marketplace, I'm going to search for Unreal Learning Kit Games. Now here's an asset pack released by Epic Games, and it contains this character with some animations along with some environments. Now the reason I'm choosing this asset pack is because it has a lot of assets and they're all of a consistent art style, so this will look great when we throw this together into a game. Now again, you don't have to use the same assets I'm using. Really, you can use any assets you like. But I'm going to use these since I like this art style, and this pack gives me a lot to work with. Now this one is only compatible with 4.26, so in my library I need to make sure I have 4.26 installed. So here's the Unreal Learning Kit Games, and I have the option to create this project. Now I need to have 4.26 installed to do this, and I do, so I'm going to click Create Project. And I'm going to stick this in my folder that contains my Blastr project here, right next to my UE4 assets. I'm going to select this, and I can leave the name Unreal Learning Kit Games and click Create. So now that I've created this project, I'm going to close out and go to my Unreal Learning Kit Games project and open it. Now, before I do so, I'm going to close out of my UE4 Assets project since I don't need that anymore. And let's open Unreal Learning Kit Games 2. So we have this Learning Kit Games project with tons of assets we can use. And it's also a 4.26 project. So we can add more assets from the marketplace to this project. And then once we're ready, we can migrate everything over to our Unreal Engine 5 project. So there are a few more assets I'd like to get. So here's the marketplace. And a good source of shooter animations is the Animation Starter Pack. So I'm going to search for Animation Starter Pack. And here we see this asset pack, and it's provided by Epic Games. And this is free, so we can add this to a project. Now I'm going to add this to the Learning Kit Games project. So I'm going to make sure to choose the correct one and add to project. So now it's here in my Learning Kit Games project. We have Anim Starter Pack. And these animations are rigged to the UE4 mannequin. We have this UE4 mannequin skeleton here. So we can use this to retarget the animations to the character we want to use, which is this guy here. So we're going to do that when we're ready. Now the Animation Starter Pack has plenty of really good shooter animations, but it doesn't quite have everything we need. For one, it doesn't have turning in place animations for standing and crouching. So there are a few animations that we still need for our project. And we're going to look to some outside sources for free animations in the next lecture. So we now have some assets for our project. We still need a few more, so we're going to go over how to get more free animations in the next lecture. I'll see you soon.